a Christian financial counselor, I teach people to manage their money in ways that glorify God. So when my husband was offered a new job here in Michigan and we were given a $10,000 moving budget from the church to relocate, I really saw it as an opportunity to practice faithful stewardship. So here's how biblical money principles helped us move for just $6,200, and how you can apply these same strategies to your next big financial decision or possibly your next big move. Hey there, I'm Katie Fula-Jones, and I am a certified Christian financial counselor who helps Christians such as yourself learn how to manage their money in light of the gospel. I teach biblical principles to help you free up your financial resources to be able to pursue your unique calling without any kind of hindrance. In my previous video, I share the exact breakdown of our cross-country moving expenses, but today I want to show you the 5 biblical principles that made our success actually possible and how you can actually use them whether you are moving cross-country, making a major purchase, or just trying to be a better steward of the resources that God has given you. This video will be helpful. Now with that, we're just going to dive straight in. So strategy number 1 is community. This comes from Ecclesiastes 4:12, which says, "Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." Now God designed us to be in community with one another. And this includes when we make financial decisions, and especially when we are trying to be good stewards of the resources that God has given us, because we are one body. And so we are one team. I like to think of it of like a big corporation. There's different departments, and you might be in charge of one part of the corporation, marketing, and I might be in charge of sales, and someone else might be in charge of distribution. So there's different departments, but it's all under one umbrella, God, big family, right? And so the way that you spend your money actually does impact the way that I spend my money, because again, we're all kind of under this whole umbrella. Instead of hiring professional movers, which quoted us anywhere between $11,000 to $20,000, we actually reached out to our church family and friends. And so we had people who came and helped us pack up our house and then pack up our moving truck, drive one of our cars out there and drive the moving truck out there. And people provided us meals during this journey. And because of the whole body of Christ coming together to help us with our move, we were able to save literally thousands of dollars. This was by far the best decision that we made in our entire moving process, was just leaning onto the community and generosity of others within our network. Now, this wasn't about taking advantage of people. It really is truly about allowing our community to be a part of God's provision. Now, most people automatically assume that they need to hire professionals for everything because they don't want to be a burden to others. And that thought definitely crossed my mind a few times, because yes, it is a lot of work to move across country. It was a huge ask to see if we could find someone to actually drive our moving truck across country for us. And yes, at times it felt like we were being a burden to others. But here is the truth. When we refuse help, we actually are robbing others of the blessing of giving and serving. So do not be afraid to be a burden. Ask for help, and you may be surprised at how much people actually want to help and how much it might actually save you in the long run. This community approach actually saved us over $5,000 in moving costs alone. So before your next major expense, think about house projects, car maintenance, help with the kids, anything from babysitting to tutoring, or even a move across country. Ask yourself, how can my community be a part of this? Don't be afraid to ask for help, advice, or partnership. Strategy number 2 is diligent planning. This comes from Proverbs 21:5, which tells us the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Biblical stewardship requires intentional planning, not impulsive decisions. So I actually spent weeks researching every aspect of our move. I actually started out by talking to a moving coach. You can check out my interview with her, helping me to think through all of the pieces of our move. I'll link to that in the description below. I compared prices of U-Hauls to prices of moving companies, even looking at using a moving company for everything or just helping us load up a truck and then us still driving the truck ourselves. We looked at even buying a shipping container to see if that would be more cost effective in the long run. Long story short, it ended up being way more expensive. I'll link to the video of our shipping container fail in the description for you as well. I looked at what it would cost to actually pay for gas moving across country. We wanted to avoid peak prices over the holiday weekend that we were moving around. And we really took our time to review everything. And we actually went past our initial deadline for when I wanted to have everything planned by, because I really did not feel confident about everything and wanted to really make sure that the details were smoothed out before pulling any triggers. Now, most people tend to make moving decisions under pressure and don't take the time to research all of their alternatives. This happens with moves as well as big purchases like cars or home renovations or school decisions for their kids. Lots of major purchases are made under pressure and you feel stressed to make a decision, so you just pull a trigger even though it might not be the best financial decision for you. So it's easy to grab the first quote that you get, especially when it comes to moving companies, because that process is so long. The actual process to get a full quote from a moving company really takes on average like 3 to 7 days in total, from calling them to setting up a walkthrough, whether it's virtual or in person, of your home. Then they have to put together a full quote for you. So that whole process takes a long time. So to vet multiple companies, I totally understand. It is stressful, it's obnoxious, and it takes a lot of time. So it's easy to just grab that first quote, book the first available date that you have, and end up paying premium prices for it. Now, the first quote we actually got was the most expensive quote. It was almost $20,000. And so our diligent planning and taking our time to find the best prices really saved us almost $14,000. If you think about that first initial quote that I got, almost 20 grand to our actual moving expenses, ended up being almost $14,000 difference. So give yourself time to plan. If you know that you have a major purchase coming up, resist the urge to make a quick decision. Take your time looking at all of your options, research, compare, and really pray over what that best decision is going to be. Now, also, I want to just warn you not to go with your gut reaction of what is going to be easiest. Again, think about how you can incorporate your community into that financial decision to make the best stewarding choice with the resources that you have. Strategy number 3 is resourcefulness and creativity. In Matthew 25, Jesus tells the parable of the talents, and he praises the servants who were resourceful with what they were given. God calls us also to be creative stewards, maximizing what we have. So going into our move, instead of buying really expensive packing supplies, boxes can be ridiculously expensive, and it seems so silly to me. But instead of going and buying everything brand new, we did get creative and we sourced free boxes from our friends and on Facebook Marketplace. We also reused the packing supplies that a friend gave us to pad our breakable belongings, as well as we utilized things like our towels and jackets and sheets and extra stuff in there to make sure that nothing would break. And we utilized every square inch of space. One of our friends who was helping us with our whole moving process sent us a ton of really awesome tips. And one of the things he said was utilize every square inch of free space that you have. We used suitcases and laundry baskets as moving containers. And I literally would open up jars and open up boxes and open up drawers, and I put stuff in everything so that no space was left unused. Now, it seems like people often feel like they need to go buy everything brand new or pay for the convenience without exploring alternatives. And I don't think you realize how much money you could be leaving on the table by doing that. I would venture to guess that our resourcefulness saved us over $300 in packing supplies. Money that could be used for kingdom purposes instead. So before you go and buy something brand new, whether it is for your move or something for your household or something for your kids or something that you just want, ask, what do I already have that could work? What free or low cost alternative might exist? Or how can I be more creative with the resources God has already given me? Is there a way that I can find something used that would be just as good? Strategy number 4 is wise financial boundaries. Luke 14:28 says, which of you wanting to build a tower doesn't first sit down and count the cost to see if he has enough to complete it? Jesus teaches us to know our limits before we commit to something. So we actually set clear boundaries before we started our moving endeavors. We decided what our maximum budget was for each category and really stuck to it. There were definitely moments that I was tempted to do the more expensive route because it just seemed more convenient to us. I really had to remind myself of our commitment to be good stewards of the budget that we were given. It's really easy to jump into a project or some sort of big endeavor with really good intentions, but allow for budget creep, which is just adding on, one more service, one more convenience until you've blown your budget entirely. Think about it when you're doing some sort of online shopping and you go to purchase that item or that service and they ask you, do you want to add on this extra thing for only $5 more? Oh, how about this next little thing for only $3? And here's another thing you can add on for half off right now. They keep getting you to buy more things. This is a really great, simple example of a budget creep. By maintaining our boundaries that we set for our move, we really avoided $1,000 to maybe $2,000 in extras that really could derail our moving budget. That included things like making sure that I packed extra food for our lunches as well as coffee so we didn't have to go buy as much along the road trip. We had snacks and entertaining things, and we didn't go and buy extra things for our move. So whatever your next big purchase is, set clear financial boundaries before you start anything major. Write those down and share them with your spouse or a friend and commit to honoring them as an act of faithful stewardship. And strategy number 5 is generosity in surplus. 2 Corinthians 9:11 reminds us that we are enriched in every way to be generous in every way. When God provides surplus through our faithful stewardship, we are called to be generous, not to hoard that money for ourselves, but to be faithful in giving to others. Because we came in so far under budget, we actually celebrated by using some of our savings to go and bless others. So we were able to give away a few gift cards to some of the friends who really made our move possible. We provided meals to those who helped us get the packing done. And we were able to be a little bit more generous to the places that we typically give because we had the resources to be able to do so. Now, it's easy to see those budget savings as your own money to spend on whatever you want for yourself, rather than recognizing that extra as God's provision that comes with responsibility. So not only did we save thousands of dollars on our move, but we were able to give more away. When God provides through your own faithful stewardship, ask Him how He wants you to use that surplus for his kingdom and for his glory. Sometimes the biggest blessing isn't what we save, but what we give. Now, these 5 biblical principles, community, planning, resourcefulness, boundaries, and generosity, didn't just save us money. They helped us experience God's faithfulness and his provision in a really tangible way. So whether you are going into a big move, have a major purchase coming up, or you're just looking for ways to be a better steward, these principles can help you transform how you handle your money. If you want to dive deeper into managing money God's way, I'd love for you to join our Facebook group, Christian Money Managers. It's a community of believers who are committed to biblical stewardship. And every Monday, I host a financial Q&A where you can get your specific money questions answered from a biblical perspective. The link to that group is in the description box below. But remember that God doesn't call us to be perfect with our money. He calls us to simply be faithful. And when we're faithful with what he's given us, he often provides in ways that exceed our own expectations. If this video helped you today, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more biblical money wisdom. And let me know in the comments, what's one area where you want to apply these principles to your own life? Thanks for watching, and may God bless you in your own stewardship journey.